Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today I have a friend of mine and I wanted to invite you on this channel to talk about moving to Saigon. So I've been sharing a lot about Vietnam in general, but in this video I want to focus about Saigon, and I invited Shu Tak, who has been living around different countries in Southeast Asia, in Singapore, in China, for instance, and then I wanted him to share about his experience and his feeling about living in Saigon as an expat. So thank you, Shu Tak, for accepting this invitation.
Thank you, Guillaume.
Maybe can you start by introducing yourself, share us like where have you been living in Asia?
Okay, I'm living in Asia for already about 10 years, a bit more. And actually I always wanted to live abroad, and I did some experiences abroad like in LA or in UK or elsewhere, but I especially like Asia. So I mainly live in China and Singapore, and I had the opportunity to visit around as well. And now I'm living in Vietnam for more than 1.5 years, and especially in Saigon. And let's see how things will go, but I love these countries and this city at the moment.
Okay, so the good thing is that you've been living in Singapore, so you will be able to share your experience about this, what I don't have actually. And here we are in District 7, so we are very near your home. So it's a district that is very calm, very quiet. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But maybe to get started, can you share maybe the pros and cons of living in Vietnam and especially Ho Chi Minh City?
Okay, what I like with Ho Chi Minh City is actually everything is quite convenient. Like if I do a comparison with France, everything is fast. It means like if you want to order food, it's easy and cheap. If you want to buy something online, you can be delivered very fast within the day as well. You need someone to repair like something in your home because it's broken. It's very cheap also, you can make it happen very fast. And this is quite easy for that part. And also what I like is lifestyle in the city. You will have also another lifestyle here in District 7. Each district actually has their own mood and spirit. I used to live in Tao Dien, near Tao Dien in the District 2. There's a lot of French expats there. The city center is really lively for daytime and nighttime as well. Now I live in District 7 because it's more quiet, and I realized that this area looks like kind of similar to Singapore as well. And that's a big pros that I like in Ho Chi Minh.
So you say the pros is like is to settling down, different kind of districts. So here like very nature oriented. You have other districts like District 1, District 10, District 3 that are very crowded. Some people like to live there. District 2 is maybe the good mix between a little bit of like cool and at the same time you are very close. There. Yeah, you feel chill. The other aspect is that you say the Vietnamese are very friendly. What about the food?
The food is delicious. So, but knowing that actually my parents used to live in Vietnam 40 years ago, before I was born, then they moved to France. And I eat Vietnamese food since my childhood, and I also have Chinese roots. And when I came here, I discovered a lot of food that actually was Vietnamese. I thought it was Chinese when I was a kid. I realized it was actually a lot of Vietnamese food that I eat, like ban seo. My mom used to cook this, the names or pho and so on. And I really enjoy here. We can see also some difference with Chinatown in Paris. And it's like a competition of which pho is nicer and so on. Also the banh mi. Vietnam is one of the countries with the most delicious food. For me, the top countries is China. China with Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Vietnam are the best country for me for food. And what I like also compared to France is that we eat outside every time. It's so cheap, it's so delicious, even a lot of street food. I love eating street food. And the thing is, I believe that it's cheaper to eat outside than cooking ourselves. And also they have the skills that I don't have in terms of cooking. So yeah, morning, breakfast, lunch, evening, we all the time we can eat outside. Local people do that, expats do that, and it's small opportunities also to meet people and to chit chat with your friend.
Yeah, very convenient city. I mean, very ease of settling down. As you mentioned before, like a lot of applications, so it's very easy to get to another district with Grabs. to order food if you are lazy and you want to eat at home. So yeah, again, a very convenient city.
Yeah, there's something also when you talk about settling down, which is easy, is about looking for apartment. When you're in France or you go to Paris, it's very crowded. Everyone wants to have or fighting to get like a small apartment, like 10 meters square or 20. And it's very expensive, while actually in Ho Chi Minh, you have the choice. District 7 is next to District 1, it's not very far. You take a Grab or a motorbike, you'll be there in 20 minutes. And it's so quiet here. And you can afford to have bigger apartment. And what is nice is that we are not going to look for so many papers. You visit the apartments, and if you like it, you can get it. And you can move in within the day after also. Like you sign the contract and it's done.
Yeah, especially nowadays in this COVID time, there is a lot of opportunity for expats and even locals to find very brand new apartments or either second hands, but like 20-30% cheaper than the usual rate. So we're pretty lucky being in this time in Vietnam. The weather, you didn't mention it, but in the south we have a very good weather compared to the north of Vietnam. So it's also a pros we have in being in Saigon.
Saigon, compared to Singapore, the weather is actually a very good luck. I love Singapore, but the weather is so hot that actually whenever you go outside, you sweat. Something that I like doing is like what I do here in this district is cycling. You go out, you cycle, rollerblading, skateboarding, you do outside activities. And you can do everything here because the weather is like spring, summer in France is very chill, like right now. But in Singapore, you will sweat so much that you are not able to do all these things so freely. So yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we have 6-7 months of hot or like springtime, spring weather, and then 3-4 months of quite heavy rain as well. That's why also District 7 is also a good place because when you have heavy rain, most of the facilities and the way they design the road is very well done. It's also one of the reasons some foreign families decide to settle in this part of the town.
You mentioned this because like District 2, Tao Dien is flooded during the rainy season. Like literally your motorbike is like inside it's full of flood, so you're not going to circulate so easily.
Yeah.
And here is more on the road is much newer, so they're better planned than Tao Dien.
Yeah, definitely. Can you now maybe come back to the cons and the major, I would say, disadvantages of living in Saigon?
The cons is mostly because I don't speak Vietnamese. This one is an issue that I didn't met in Singapore because in Singapore everybody speaks English there. So it's not always easy to settle things with the local people here because of the lack of communications. But everyone is nice and comprehensive. And whenever like I take a Grab or we have a problem of communication, they say, sorry, I don't speak English. Actually, I feel sorry because I don't speak Vietnamese. That's more of this part of relationship we have, and everything is fine, and that's it.
The pollution?
Pollution is something that matters, is true, but that's not something I feel the most concerned about it. There's pollution, but we are not dying in the pollution. There is much worse in maybe New York or in the city center of Paris. But it's true that living here in District 7 is so much like we can see the pollution but from far. Like from my apartment, I see like the kind of cloud, but it's much further from where I live. And that's one of the reasons also I like to stay here. I used to live in District 2 with next to the road, and my apartment was full of dust every day, and now I have no more of these problems.
Okay. Can you talk about the traffic jam?
Traffic jam, this one also is terrible for a lot of people, but not for me somehow because I work from home. I'm a web entrepreneur. I work online, so I just need a computer so I can work from my home, from a cafe. I don't have to go to District 1 to commute. But it's true that the traffic jam is one of the reasons that some people prefer to live in city center. They may take like 45 minutes to go to office by motorbike every day, going back, so 1 hour and a half for them. But for me, I have the freedom to choose the district I want, and now I'm quite happy here.
So thank you, Shu Tak. So you just share about the pros and cons for your perspective being in Saigon. Maybe can you share a little bit more about this district, District 7? Why do you like this district that much?
I moved to District 7 because it's quiet, because it's chill. I like the park, which is in front of Crescent Mall. My girlfriend has dogs, and we go there every weekend to chill with the dogs there. It's very pet friendly. Yeah, it's just a feeling of holiday somehow during a good weekend. I decided to do not live in a condo anymore. As an expat, I always wanted, like as well as Singapore or here in Vietnam, it's like the reflex, okay, let's get a condo. Because a condo basically is like an apartment, you have swimming pool, you have gym, you have security guards, so it's very safe. You have this luxury feel, you feel good, you live in 2 or 3 bedrooms for quite affordable price, which you could get just a studio in Paris. And then I discovered that James, by deciding leaving the condo, is that you can have so much better apartments for cheaper and bigger also as well.
And you have the advantages of being in a popular environment, right?
That's mainly the decision, is like the condo is kind of the golden cage. I live with my dad. My dad joined me in Vietnam for about 1.5 years already. So I was thinking safety is very good for him and so on and so on. But at the end of the day, the interaction that you have with your neighbors is not the same with some places that is more popular. You don't talk to the neighbors the same way. When you live in a condo, your neighbors are just living inside their own bubbles. Like, this is one. And second thing is the kids, when they play, the families, they just have the swimming pool, but they are not that free to do everything they want. While it's more popular, they can cycling, they can do rollerblading downstairs, they can shower, they can do whatever they want. It's very lot more freedom, and it reminds me, I used to live from when I was a kid. HLM is more like a social apartments, and I had this feeling now, and I quite like it because it's more lively. I told to Guillaume, it's more like a real life to me. And that's it. I prefer this kind of setup now than condo. I feel more happy in that way.
Okay, so few more words also about District 7. You have a lot of international schools. That's one of the reasons foreign families want to settle here. You have good hospital. And again, you are in a neighborhood where you have a good combination between parks, between good infrastructure. Yes. So for the families, is like kind of the nicest environment to be living in. Can we come back a little bit about your previous journey, because you were before living in Singapore? So you could share maybe this comparison, pros and cons, or what's your perspective about Vietnam compared to Singapore?
The first thing before starting is, to me, my life in Singapore and Vietnam is so much more closer each other than my life in France. Even if there's France, Singapore, like big cities, compared to Vietnam, which is a bit more backward, I would say. But Singapore and Vietnam has more similarities each other, especially in terms of what we say, whatever is convenient, we want something, we just need to call, and then everything can get as fast as we could. Quite like just doing like this, and you can get it very fast. The main difference, I would say, is Singapore, we say that is one of the most expensive cities in the world, maybe the most, or just close to Paris, maybe. But the rental is expensive, it's true. But after that, cars is expensive, but you don't have to drive in Singapore. So you can, as soon as you can afford to have the rent, everything is cheap actually. Like similarities, especially for the food. Food is delicious and cheap, super cheap in both countries. So I felt quite free, a lot of freedom also in Singapore. I never felt like super restrained. I have to save a lot of money because it's expensive and so on. You just need to make sure that you can pay your rent. And after that, the lifestyle is not that expensive. If you want to go out, both you can have like bars, cafe. Especially in Vietnam, they love cafe. You can have a street with 5 or 6 cafes next to each other. They like to chill in the cafe. If you never try yet, try the cafe soda. It's like a cafe with condensed milk and ice. It's super good. The first time I tried, I was amazed by this local specialty. There is something I like about Singapore is especially the safety. What is cool is that you never see any policemen in the street, but you feel safe because everybody take care of each other in terms of the safetiness. And it happened that actually this feeling, I have it also in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh. You can go out anytime, day or night, even very late at night. You really feel safe there because nobody is going to interrupt your journey asking you a cigarette or something. When I moved to Singapore, it was for career purpose. When I moved to Vietnam, it was for change purpose. I left Singapore, my question was where could I live? Because I can work abroad, remotely. Then I came to Vietnam because I have a friend who stays here. There's something that I notice in career-wise or job-wise, and also the ability of people, like local people from Singapore and Vietnam, is that as soon as you got any type of small or unique skills, you can make a business. I see that in France, we always try to think big before building a business. Is always complicated, a lot of papers and so on. You have to do market survey or whatever. You need to be something complicated. While I see in Vietnam, it's so clear that you know how to cook com tam, then you just downstairs of your place you live, you can open a business and you can welcome people. You put some chairs and they can eat already, and they are very resourceful. And that's what I like also. In Singapore also, it's really resourceful. It's very easy to open a business as well. That's what I like in the dynamism. Again, it's like whenever like you are young or old, you can do something. And also the way that you face poverty is different also. In France, we tend to feel poverty when we cannot afford what we want. It's happening also here, of course, but we don't hesitate to open a very small business and do something about it. And that's what I like, how they rebound. And also they can be happy with just a little thing as well.
Yeah, definitely this entrepreneurship mindset and the fact that like it's really inside the DNA of the Vietnamese, I feel that, or maybe the Asian, as you mentioned, to try to do something by their own as soon as they have an idea, or as soon as they have the family that can back them a little bit, they will try to be their own boss, they will try to learn something. And obviously as entrepreneur that we are, it's also a very good environment to be if you want to build a team, if you want to grow your business. You can easily find designers, IT people to kind of be surrounding into your team, join your team, and to help you to grow. So thank you, Shu Tak, for the sharing. Maybe can you give some last word for people who would maybe consider moving to Vietnam, and especially Saigon?
So if you want to move to Saigon, what I would do, like it's related to my own story, is don't think too much. The best way, if you want to have the feeling to move, you don't have to do a 6-month research to make sure that this is exactly what you want. Now you just come here. You can settle you take a hotel for maybe Airbnb for 2 weeks, 1 month. You have a preview. You like it or not, then you can come back still again for 6 months. Just come and have a feel of it, and you will see if you like it. And it's not that terrible at the end of the day. You don't have to make a moving something so somehow official. You just test it as holiday. And then if you really like it, just come over. And some more, what I like with Southeast Asia, it's so easy with low-cost flights to go around, especially out of COVID, of course. And then you can explore around, go Hong Kong, go China, go Thailand, go Cambodia. Maybe you will discover that some similarities, some difference, and you will see what you like the most. And Saigon, to me, has been the places that I feel good. And I have choose at the moment more than Cambodia or Singapore and so on. So yeah, just come over and do your own test and have your own feeling.
Thank you, Shu Tak. It was good to get your insight and your comparison between kind of very well-designed, well-established countries like Singapore, and also your perspective of now being here for more than a year and seeing what you feel about Vietnam. Thank you again, Shu Tak, and I see you in the next video.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.